In this clip, I work with Logan, a professional soccer player who's been dealing with intense stress and anxiety around his performance. Together, we reframe his perspective and map out a clear game plan to help him perform at a higher level while releasing the pressure that's been holding him back. And just a quick note, I connected with Logan not long after this session, and his performance had completely skyrocketed, having scored 12 goals, 2 assists in 11 games. This work creates real results. Let's take a look.
The profession itself is it's really demanding and it's really up and down. There's so many moving things. In reality, a lot of them are out of the control of you, or like it's totally in control of somebody else. So it's not anything that you do specifically, but it's a lot of things that, one day you're in the starting 11, the next day you're not in the starting 11. One day you're playing, one day you're hurt. I've been through a lot of injuries this year. And so it's just a lot of things that are up and down, and that's trying to separate your life from in soccer to outside of soccer, I guess. And so that's kind of been a big struggle.
Well, see, this is wonderful, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to step into soccer, and we're going to try to transform the perspective there. Okay. So
yeah.
What you're talking about, is this just your experience, or is this a common experience for everybody on the team?
It's hard to speak for others, but I would say it is a pretty common experience just because of how demanding and how
like injuries
things can change.
Yeah. Okay. So injuries, pressures, and then being out of the circle of influence to control certain things. Like those are commonalities. So we're not talking about another person's perspective, whether that's good or bad. We're just talking about the actual circumstance, is that the ebbs and flows of playing one week, not playing the next week, being injured, not being injured, healing, recovering, these things are they kind of normal and par for the course, if you will, within your world?
Absolutely.
Okay. So now watch. This is really powerful and important for you to understand. If that is normal and expected, why are you treating it like it's not?
Yeah.
So it's like a guy jumping into a raft and being like, man, it's really hard going down these rapids. I get hit with these big, huge waves, and then I gotta go through. And the whole time he's stressing himself out and talking about, as he's going through the rapid, how hard the rapid is to go through. And then he gets injured. He's like, man, now I'm kind of obsessed with being injured and I can't control. And he's out there doing that, performing. And what would be his mindset and the flow of his performance and the quality of experience if he dropped all that and said, I'm just going to take every moment as it comes, and I'm going to do my best to flow within the rapids, to adjust, to ebb, to flow, to be fluid within the fluidity of this circumstance. How much better would the experience get for you?
I mean, I think it would be monumental. I think the problem that I run into with that is my mind kind of has all these attachments of the way things should be.
Yep.
And when the mind creates those, and it's like, wow, and then you don't get it. You get hurt, or you're not in the squad that you want to be in. Then you're like, wow, then that's where the real struggle is.
Okay. So we have the solution already. So, and then we'll talk about, shifting outside of work. But basically, we have to step into where the area of concern is and transform our perspective there. So, why do you play soccer?
Because I love it. It's awesome.
Now, that right there is everything we need to know, okay? So now, I want you to imagine standing at the foot, the base of a mountain within a summit that is 15,000 feet in the air or whatever, okay? And this is your soccer empire. We think we need to navigate and summit this mountain. And as we do it, we get cutbacks, which are like injuries. We don't make starting squad, which is like descending for 300 meters before we can ascend for 500 meters. There's cutbacks, there's delays, there's rocks that are falling down, there's traffic, there's all this different stuff that's happening. And we're just trying to get to that summit. But our goal isn't to get to the summit. The goal is to realize that every time we take a step, we have just summited. So you're looking at getting somewhere you need to be, as if you can perform better, last longer, make more money, make it to this amazing space where you're starting and you're on a premier team in a premier league, whatever it is, then you'll have arrived. But that's not why you play soccer.
Yeah.
You play soccer because you love it. So what you're looking at when you go into work every day is you're looking for the struggle. Because your mind has attachment about, as you said, about these things and the way it should go. Well, that's because you're looking for attachment. And we're having the intention of expectation. We need to drop all that. So we need to let go of the expectations to summit the mountain. Pardon me. And instead, walk in every day and be like, how do I have fun today? How do I love soccer today? Okay.
Yeah.
So next time you're going to have to go in, are you going into work tomorrow?
No, we actually have an off day tomorrow, Friday.
Okay. So Friday, you're going to go into work and you're going to put a little reminder on your phone to go off 15 minutes before you walk in that door, and maybe 5 minutes. And you're going to say, Logan, go love soccer. And then I'm going to challenge you to find 10 things that happened that day where you felt gratitude, where you felt excitement, where you felt celebration, where you felt triumph, where you felt pride, where you felt confidence, where you felt unity, where you felt the thrill, the love, the passion. These are the things I'm going to have you look for as you're playing. So if you make a good stop and a great pass, you go, I did it. That was awesome. I'm proud of you. That was fun. You potentially score a goal. I don't know what position you play or whatever, or you defend. You mark that mentally. You have a talk from the coach and the coach tells you to do something and it seems like a criticism. You go, thank you. Now I'm better because I know this. Okay. So what we're doing is we're setting a different intention for your mind not to have the expectation, because your expectation is to summit the mountain and become very good at this and make it a career. And you're putting a tremendous amount of pressure on yourself in the day-to-day to make this work. And that pressure, which is self-imposed, is decreasing your performance. It's creating more injuries and it's making you feel more anxiety and stress. So it's kind of like when an alcoholic goes, I can never drink again. What do they say? No, I'm just not drinking today. They look at the day. When we have a mountain to summit, we don't go, I'm going to scale this entire mountain now. We go, no, I'm going to go as far as I can today. And I'm going to be present of my journey today. And I'm going to be mindful of how great it is to hike this thing. And I'm going to appreciate the switchbacks and the descents. I'm going to find awareness and lessons and gravity within every moment of every journey today. So your goal for soccer going into work now is to love soccer, which we would equate to having those positive emotions that I talked about: confidence, pride, triumph, success, of course, just having that inspirited, beautiful, like, exchange of unity and companionship and camaraderie, like any of that stuff that happens. Go look for that stuff on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis. Set the intention to remind yourself to look for that right before walking through the door. And then when you exit, I want you to write down the 10 things that happened that day. So this works for many different reasons. We've just set a very different intention. Have you been doing this?
Not to the extent that I
Not
want
to
to.
this intention, right?
Yeah.
You may catch things here and there,
Yeah, of course.
but it's not the total focus. Your focus is on finding fault and flaws, things you can't control, and you're going to find what you're looking for. So we're going to give all that up. And we're setting the goal. I'm going to have fun loving soccer, right? That is our new goal. Then, Every day, you're going to find those things. And again, you're looking for those particular experiences emotionally, confidence, pride, triumph, etc. Then when you leave and you go home that night, I want you to write down those 10 things. I'm grateful for blank experience because it made me feel blank emotion. And I want you to write this stuff down because
Yeah.
what it is it's training the neuroplasticity for our brain to function in a different way, finding pleasure and delight in the present moment, in the reality of the situation, as opposed to the non reality. And I'm going to explain that a little bit, okay? So if you can do that and you write that down every single day you play soccer, you're going to notice in a few days' time, you're going to have a different perspective. And your perspective is going to be empowered, optimistic, and positive and grateful. And if you can maintain that momentum, you're going to be a better athlete. You're going to be a better team player. You're going to be a higher performer. You're not going to get injured as much. You're not going to stay injured as long because you are transmuting, you are elevating, strengthening your entire vibration, your entire conscious beingness, state of being. And this is incredibly powerful for externalizing itself and helping to transform the circumstance of soccer for you because you are vibrating with this vibrational frequency and it's transmitted out into the ether. And we're looking at it this is what I hear from you being this mindset spiritual teacher. When I asked you what your biggest frustration was, you painted soccer in a negative light. You said, I'm bringing that outside of that. I want to cause separation. So you were talking about almost how that soccer was a burden that was spilling over into the rest of your personal life.
Yeah.
So that tells me when you're playing soccer, you're not having the best time. You're not having fun. That tells me that what you're looking for is the expectations, is the things you can't control, are the injuries, are the times when you don't succeed. That tells me you're finding that stuff. Do you see how all of this is like a domino effect?
Yeah.
Which tells me your intention is to go force yourself to be successful. And that's not what we're fucking doing here anymore, ever again. You're going to go be uber successful and set goals, but we're going to do that with this mindset. Okay. So can you do that? Set the intention, see it through, find the gratitude as you're playing soccer, and then record it in the evening. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.